Warning: Tsukihime is an adult visual novel with themes and depictions of sex, sexual violence, gore, and abuse. Warnings will be placed before any of these pop up in the video. Just be advised that these themes are in this story. Welcome back to Tsukihime. Last time, we followed Tono Shiki on his way to school, met his fellow students Arihiko and Ciel, then followed him to his new home at the Tono mansion. We left him there tired and confused in his room after running into an unknown man just outside the mansion gates, and we start the next day after he sleeps. In his dream, he remembers his talk with Sensei about the lines only he could see, a carryover from last night, where before he passed out he could see the lines of death even with his glasses on. However, the dream doesn't last, as he hears a voice in the real world pulling him back to reality.
Good morning. I hear an unfamiliar voice. It is morning. It is time for you to awaken, Shiki-sama. Stop calling me Shiki-sama already. I told you yesterday. It sends the chills down my back. I wake up. Isui stands far from the bed, like a statue. Where am I? Good morning, Shiki-sama. The girl in the maid uniform bows. Yeah, I came home. Right. I push myself up, looking around the room. In that instant, I feel a sharp pain in my temples. Huh? Are you looking for your glasses? Isui gently hands me my glasses. Whew. I let out a breath. Last night, before I went to sleep, I had the feeling I was seeing the lines even with my glasses on. Seemed like it was just my imagination. Psst. Maybe it's because I slept in an unfamiliar room, but my mind is hazy. Shiki-sama? Hisui calls out to me. Shaking my head, I shake away my sleepiness. Good morning, Hisui. Thanks for coming to wake me. There is no need to thank me. It is my duty to come and wake you, Shiki-sama. Hisui gives a plain and completely expressionless response. I just want to ask, does that mean even when he takes a shower and when he goes to sleep, he always has his glasses on? Because I feel like he'd still see them if he takes them off to do that, because, like, how would you even go, like, start taking a shower with glasses on? I don't know. Even in unfavorable light, I think Hisui's features are beautiful. It should be wonderful for such a girl to wake me every morning, but as Hisui never smiles, I don't feel that happy about it. What a shame. If Hisui only had half of Kohaku's brightness, she would be really cute. Do you need something else? Something? Realizing I am looking at her, Hisui stares right back at me. No, nothing at all. Waking up with you there makes me feel like I'm really at the Tono mansion. Now then. Getting off the bed, I stretch out both arms. Suddenly I realize I'm wearing pajamas. I'm sure that yesterday Huh? I slept in my uniform last night. Yes. Since it is bad for your health to do so, Nissan changed your clothes and put you to bed afterwards. Hisui explains it as if it was something perfectly natural. I see. She changed my clothes. It's true that I could have caught a cold if I had just slept like that. Just the kind of attentive service that you'd expect from a maid. Hey, wait a minute. What? I quickly check my pants and underwear. My pants are brand new pajama pants. Even my underwear is new. I wanted to say, what the hell did you do? But somehow the words are stuck in my throat. I've got to calm down and think things over for now. Let's see. First of all, half the blame belongs to me. And the one who changed me wasn't Hisui, it was her sister, Kohaku-san. It would be wrong to complain to Hisui. Hisui... Yes, what is it? You don't have to do anything uncalled for like this from now on. If you have to, please wake me up. I can change myself, so I'd like to do so. My face is deep red as I say all of this. Hisui obediently nods in affirmation. Your uniform is folded and awaits you over there. Please come to the sitting room once you've changed. Damn it. How careless could I be? It was careless of me to begin with when I fell asleep on the bed like that, but to not have woken up while I was being changed is over the top. Usually I would have sensed it, but maybe I was just really tired. Complaining to myself isn't going to change anything. I can't just keep standing here talking to myself like an idiot. I better hurry up and change, then go have breakfast. My school uniform is neatly folded and my shirt is even ironed. Passing my wrists through the sleeves feels good. It's that fresh, brand new feeling. No, there's nothing wrong with being naked, is there? Yep. There's nothing wrong with it, but I couldn't help being embarrassed at the fact that I was being changed by the warmly smiling Kohaku-san. To top things off, the face in the mirror keeps smiling from time to time despite being bright red. Are you really okay, Tonoshiki? I thought you were supposed to be uneasy about staying here, you amateur.
Once changed, Shiki makes his way to the sitting room, where Akiha and Kohaku are currently waiting. We are given the choice of who to greet, our first option of the day. I decide to greet both of them, since it would be kind of rude to just ignore one or the other of them and not just say hi to both.
Good morning, you two. Good morning, Shiki-san. Wearing an apron that suits her, Kohaku-san replies with a smile that could not possibly be any larger. On the other hand, Akiha just casts a glance at me. Good morning. You certainly took your time this morning, Nissan. She certainly knows how to put a damper on things. Took my time. It's barely past 7. It only takes 30 minutes to get to school from here, so I'm actually up early. So you're saying you're going to finish breakfast in just 10 minutes? You're not some starving dog, so if you're going to eat breakfast, I'd like you to take your time. Akiha's words really do have thorns. I'm not a dog, Akiha. Then I remember, speaking of dogs, there's what happened last night.
After the commotion of last night, Shiki asks if that raucous howling happens every night, to Akiha and Kohaku's confusion. Neither of them have any idea what he's talking about, only noting the only thing out of order was Shiki himself last night.
Was it really? I did think the wind was quite strong, but the only unusual thing I found while looking around late at night was you, sleeping in your school uniform on top of your bed. Yes. I'll be more careful from now on. What? What happened, Kohaku? Oh, nothing in particular. Shiki-san just had a bad sleeping posture, that's all. Kohaku-san dodges Akiha's question with a smile. Come to think of it, Kohaku-san is calling me Shiki-san now. It seems like Hisui passed on my message from last night.
With neither of them having heard it, they pass it off as Shiki having a bad dream. With the weird state he was in last night and no evidence, Shiki can only agree in silence. After their conversation, Akiha goes to school, with the Kohaku seeing her off. Shiki, meanwhile, eats his breakfast that Kohaku made for him before heading to school, with Hisui waiting to see him off. Before they leave, Kohaku runs back to hand Shiki something. It's a small box from the Arimas, and one Shiki doesn't recognize. His unfamiliarity with it is compounded by the fact that he already had all his stuff delivered to the mansion. Kohaku said it was left by his father, and after her not-so-subtle curiosity, Shiki decides to see what's inside.
Kohaku-san is staring intently at the wooden box. She seems almost like a child who wants a toy. Stare. No, she is a child. I get it. You want to know what's inside, right? Oh, not at all. I merely wondered for a moment. Like I said, you do wonder what's inside. Alright, let's open it. 1, 2, 3. With a dry sound, the wooden box opens. Inside, there's a 10-centimeter bar of thin iron? It's an iron bar. Undecorated and worn, it has finger marks all over it. The old man must have really hated me to leave me a piece of junk like this. No, Shiki-san. It's a fruit knife. Kohaku-san takes the iron bar out of the box. See? Isn't this one of those folding knives? 1, 2, 3. With a pachink, a 10-centimeter blade pops out from the bar. I see. It certainly is a knife. It's old, but it seems pretty solid. The year and the era it was made in is written on the back. Kohaku-san replaces the blade and hands over the knife. Certainly, there's a number written on the grip. The character is 7, and under it, the character Knight. Nissan, there is no era by that name. It just says Nanatsu Yori. Surprised, I turn around. Hisui had been silent until now, was looking at the knife over my shoulder. You surprised me, Hisui. You should say something. You don't have to look over my shoulder like that, you know. If you want to see it, I'll show you. Ah. Hisui's cheeks suddenly become a little redder. Please excuse me. The knife is so beautiful that I could not help myself. Beautiful? You really think it's beautiful? It looks kind of beat up to me. Not at all. The tempering of the blade is masterful. I think it is a knife with its own proper history. Really? It looks to me like a piece of junk. But as Hisui seems so convinced, I begin to feel the same thing. In its own way, I guess it's not such a bad inheritance. 7 Knights? Maybe that's the name of the fruit knife? Maybe, though I can't imagine him naming a knife like that. Whatever the case may be, it's obvious that it's an antique. In any case, I believe I'm in taking what's given to me. I replaced the blade and put the knife in my trouser pocket. Shiki-sama, will you have enough time? I have to get going. Well, Kohaku-san, thank you for the delivery. You're welcome. Kohaku-san smiles and waves.
As Shiki and Hisui make their way to the gate, there is a commotion outside. Shiki asks Hisui if she knows about it, and she says there were bloodstains found on a road nearby, with some also getting on the mansion's fencing. There were no bodies found, just blood, but the idea of something happening nearby gives Shiki flashbacks to last night. However, before thinking more of it, Hisui bids him farewell and he heads off to school. On his way to school, Shiki familiarizes himself with his new path, walking down the hill and past the commercial district before finally making it to the front gate. As he makes his way to his seat, Arihiko greets him and Ciel is there with him.
Senpai, why are you in our classroom? Dumbfounded, I point to Ciel Senpai like I'm looking at a ghost. Huh? Is it so unusual? I was wondering if you were in class, so I decided to come to see you, Tono-kun. Unusual? The seniors never come to the junior classrooms. There's all sorts of reasons, but the biggest one is that they're just too far apart. Oh, I see. Senpai nods with a serious face. You don't have to worry about that. Despite my appearance, I'm a fast runner. It takes me less than a minute to get to my classroom downstairs from here. Senpai emphasizes her point. I guess she's just not the kind of person who cares what other people think. Quit whining, Tono. What's wrong with it anyway? Senpai's here because she wants to be. Arihiko, being Arihiko, plunks himself down on my desk and starts up a merry conversation with Senpai.
They chat for a little bit, with Arihiko and Ciel asking about how his new house is, and Ciel reaffirming that Arihiko and Shiki really do have a good friendship before she heads back to her classroom. After, Arihiko and Shiki chat about how much they like Ciel, which leads to some funny dialogue before class starts.
Oh, that's unusual. Wasn't it your policy not to deal with girls you can't pick up in a day because they're too trouble? That's for normal girls, but Senpai's different. I've kept it a secret all this time, but actually You like senior girls who look good with glasses on, don't you? Arihiko's face turns red. You knew all along, my dear friend. Yeah, I knew. We're friends, after all. We get along and we've got the same interests. I see. You can understand how good Senpai is too, can't you? Hey, wait! Yeah, like I said, we've got similar interests, right? That's why we're into the same type of women. Arihiko nods in agreement and heads back towards his own seat. I guess it was a short friendship, Tono. Yeah, exactly right. Wave at Arihiko off. The teacher comes in about the same time.
With morning classes done, it's lunchtime again, and that means another choice. We've got 3 options. We could go to the cafeteria and see Arihiko, we could stay by ourselves in the classroom, or we could go to the tea ceremony room, where we met with Ciel yesterday. Since I felt pretty committed to seeing Ciel, given the choices I've already done, I opt for the tea ceremony room.
I guess I'll go take a look in the tea ceremony room. I'm sure Senpai said something yesterday after class about having lunch there. If Senpai is there, maybe I can talk with her while having lunch. Most importantly, I enjoy having lunch with Senpai, and I'm also worried about the news story from this morning. Alright, gotta strike while the iron's hot and all. I head off to the tea ceremony room before Arihiko notices my plan. I knock on the tea ceremony room door. After a brief wait, the door creaks open and Senpai peeks out her head. Huh? Tono-kun. Puzzled, Senpai tilts her head. She doesn't seem annoyed, but it seems like she really doesn't understand why I came here. Would you like to have lunch together, Senpai? Holding out the bread I purchased at the cafeteria, I tell her why I am here. Lunch? I'm happy to hear you ask me, but... Senpai thinks it overlooking troubled. Things don't look good. Seems Senpai isn't very interested. I guess I've got no choice. I decide to employ a little strategy. I have curry bread. Eh? Senpai's face becomes bright and cheerful. Oh, so he already knew. All those curry dishes weren't a coincidence. I had a feeling about this from yesterday's lunch, but I'm amused at her reaction. I'll give you this in thanks for yesterday's lunch, so why don't we eat together? Yes, please. I've just put the tea on. Senpai hastily vanishes inside. Following her, I enter the tea ceremony room. Ah. As I entered, it becomes obvious why Senpai was hesitant back then. On top of the tatami mat is an already empty lunchbox. It seems like Senpai had long since finished her lunch. Tono-kun, would you like English or green tea? Eh? Green tea, please. More importantly, have you already finished lunch, senpai? Yes, just a little while ago. I slept in this morning, so I didn't have any breakfast and I was hungry all morning. It was terrible. I see. Well, you don't have to force yourself to accompany me. Sorry for intruding on you. I'll eat in the classroom, so please take your time relaxing. Eh? You mean you're not going to give me any bread? Senpai's sorrow seems to resound from the bottom of her heart. No, I mean, you must be full, right, senpai? Not at all. I'm hungry. It doesn't appear she's just saying this to make me feel better. Really? Well, I'll be intruding then. Is this really okay with you, senpai? The bread from our cafeteria really has volume, you know. No need to worry. If it's food I like, then I can eat limitless amounts of it. That bashful smile is most probably not from shyness, but from anticipation of the curry bread. She is a woman of many mysteries.
Their conversation starts about Shiki's stay at the Tono mansion, but after him mentioning last night, talk circles back to the vampire killings in town. When Shiki gets stuck on the term vampire, CL takes an interest in the particulars of the word, and they discuss how if it was truly a vampire, how there could possibly be more victims. That the victims we know about are only known because they couldn't be vampires and their bodies were just discarded. The conversation isn't too serious, but they talk with interest until lunch ends. During 5th period, Shiki notices a crow outside the classroom window. Just a regular crow, but it reminds him of last night. Right after, he starts feeling dizzy. His anemia is starting to attack his body and he knows it. He tries to keep himself up, but is unable. He starts to pass out when Arihiko notices this and catches him before he falls. He then asks the teacher to let him take Shiki to the infirmary. The teacher says he can go there or he could just leave school early, and Shiki opts for the latter. After thanking Arihiko, he leaves and heads back to the mansion. Shiki notes as he leaves that these dizzy spells are not too common as he's gotten older, but they still can happen like they did today. As Shiki continues on to the mansion, he passes through the commercial district, noting the many people passing by. It's just past noon, and though it is still quite hot, he starts to feel a bit better. However, before he continues, he sees something, or rather, someone, and everything changes.
I begin to think melancholy thoughts, perhaps a result of my fever. Guess I'll go home now. I feel calmer, and all I'm doing here is wasting my time with pointless thoughts. Getting up from the guardrail, I resume heading home to the mansion so I can rest. That is, until I see her. Casually. All I did was casually cast my gaze into the crowd, but my vision freezes. Thump. Golden hair and red eyes. Her clothes are white, as if they're a symbol of herself. Thump. My pulse races. My veins and arteries spring into action. My nerves split, one after the other. My spinal cord goes berserk, as if it's about to leap out of my back. Thump. The girl walking into the crowd is just beautiful. The distant dizziness comes back to me. My consciousness swims, falling. Thump. I can't breathe. My fingertips tremble. The blood isn't reaching them. My whole body feels cold, like I'm freezing to death. Thump. My heart beats in a rush, urging me to hurry up. I can stand it no longer, and unintelligible words escape my mouth. I can't think. My brain tells me only one word. Thump. Just one word repeating in my brain. Her. That girl. I'm going to... I feel sick. I can't breathe. It hurts to breathe. For some reason, I can't remember how to breathe properly. My throat is burning. My eyes are about to burst. My palms are soaked. I feel so cold, but I'm drenched in sweat. I have to follow her. I have to follow that girl. Chase her, chase after her, and talk to her. My frozen feet begin to move. My breathing is ragged, like that of a beast. I chase after the girl in white. The girl walks slowly. She doesn't realize I'm following her. If I run after her now, I can talk to her. Talk to her and ask her name. Ask her name? Who am I kidding? I know very well that that's not what I want to do. I know, but I don't know. It looks like I want to do something else, but I can't precisely put what I want to do in words. The inside of my head is misted over like a rain cloud. My throat is hot. I can't breathe. But so what? It's only natural, right? I've just seen that great woman. It would be impolite not to get excited, wouldn't it? Stop her and ask her name? Ha! Give me a break. I'm not a kid after all. I don't fully understand it, but there's only one thing I must do. I walk with my hands in my pocket. I'm dropping a save. My fingers feel steel. How fortunate. The tools are all here. She walks. I leave plenty of room between us. She won't notice, so the other people around us won't suspect. She and I are complete strangers. That's why I have to do my best to make following her look natural. She walks into an apartment building. I don't go in yet, but instead watch from outside. She takes the elevator up. The elevator stops at the 6th floor. I check the common mailbox on the 1st floor. There are 5 mailboxes for the 6th floor. I touch one of them and feel a sharp sensation. I smell it. There's no mistake. Her room is the 3rd one on the 6th floor. I enter the elevator and press 6. Well, we're straight, following her. What the hell? I'm excited. I grip the knife in my pocket tightly while in the small elevator. She's very close by. Just a little more and I can... Her.
Stop it. Get some help.
Alright, so I'm gonna stop the clip here for a second. This is definitely concerning, and, yeah, it just kinda gets worse from here. Shiki is seemingly taken over by some kind of desire to follow this blonde girl all the way to her apartment. His inner thoughts start to note an intense heat in his body and the excitement he connects to a sexual desire. He follows her all the way up to her room, and as he approaches the door, he takes off his glasses. Something we really aren't expecting him to ever even want to do. He notices that not only can he see the lines with his glasses off right now, but his eyes can now see black points on these lines as well, and he can see a lot of them. His intention at this point, though confusing why they're showing here, should be clear, so, warning, skip ahead to this timestamp to avoid what happens next, because it's not pretty. As he questions why he feels the need to do this, he rings the doorbell. The woman answers with a questioning yes as she opens the door. As it opens, Shiki moves through the door, and before she can let out anything other than a confused, he targets the lines on her body. He cuts her apart. 17 pieces to be exact, all across the lines. He notes each part he cut, noting that he did it in an instant. However, right after, with the blood that results in his view, Shiki is snapped back to reality. He doesn't understand what just happened right away, or what he just did. He's also confused as to why he would do it. As the blood pools towards him, he tries to deny reality, and we're given a choice, as if it really matters what we say.
It wasn't me. Yes, has to be a mistake. A mistake. A mistake. Probably a mistake. Definitely a mistake. This is just a bad dream, or this is without a doubt reality wrought by my own hand. I'm gonna be real. We definitely just killed someone. But just what is wrong about it? Wrong. I killed her. Is that fact wrong? I didn't kill her. Is that fact wrong? No, that's totally wrong. That's wrong. Wrong. No, that is wrong. I'm saying it's wrong. It can't be. It just can't be. Wrong. I don't know her. She's just some stranger I saw walking down the street. See? That's strange to you, Shiki? She's a complete stranger. Why would I have to kill her? There is no answer to my screams. Besides, the reason is clear. From the moment I saw her, I could only think of one thing. Tono
Shiki wanted to kill that girl. No matter how much he wants to deny it, he has to accept what happened. He doesn't know why, he doesn't even know her, but that is the truth of what has happened. Though he has to accept it, that doesn't mean his body takes it well. He starts throwing up. And in his confused daze, he runs out of the apartment. He runs to the park, continuing to empty his stomach after fleeing the apartment. Mixed in with this, he is crying, still trying to figure out why he did it. He starts to understand that lustful feeling he had while following her, a feeling that reached its apex when he ended her life. But he still can't believe himself. And in anger at himself, he lets out an apology to Sensei. As he continues to apologize to the air, to agonize over the horrors of what he just did and the ending of a person, time passes by. It's now nighttime, and he's still in the park. He's cold, but despite knowing he should leave lest his body eventually pass, he doesn't care. He looks at the fruit knife in his hand that he received this morning, which did the deed, and how he could possibly use it to atone for what he has done. But his fear of death that normally keeps him in check prevents him from the idea. So he's stuck.
The noise continues. My body temperature continues to plummet. I can't kill myself, but if I leave things as they are, I'll disappear. Maybe that's for the best, even if a killer like me survives. If I just quickly die like this. Tono-kun? Suddenly my name is called. I raise my head. There's Senpai. It feels like decades since I last saw her. What are you doing sitting out here in the rain? Rain? Ah, I see. The static noise up until now was the sound of rain. No wonder it's cold. I can see now that I'm completely soaked and freezing. Oh, you don't even have an umbrella. You're going to catch cold like that, Tono-kun. Senpai's voice is so painful. It was only a few hours ago that I had last heard it, but now it sounds so distant. Tono-kun? Can you hear me? Yeah. It wouldn't be so bad to catch a cold. I just reply without thinking. That won't do. You'll catch more than a cold with rain like this, even if it is October. Her sentence cuts off as she touches me. How long have you been like this, Tono-kun? You're so cold. Senpai pulls my arm and forces me up from the bench. I'll lend you my umbrella, so please hurry and go home, and do something about your body. It'll really be a matter of life or death if you don't warm up quickly. Ah, yeah, but I can't go home. I can't go anywhere ever again. I can't go home after doing something like that. I don't think there's anywhere left where I can rest anymore. Senpai stares at me. I see. Then let's go back to my room. It's closer than your house, so it's perfect. Senpai pulls me by my arm. I can't shake her off. I can't think about anything at the moment, and Senpai's warmth is the only certain thing in this world where everything feels numb.
With Ciel dragging him along, Shiki arrives at her apartment. It's small, one bedroom and a tiny kitchen, but it's neat. While Ciel hands him a towel and tries to help him out, he doesn't really do anything, still stuck in the despair from the afternoon. Ciel, after seeing this, starts being a little more forceful trying to help him dry off, but after his shirt comes off, she notices his scar. Before she can be even more concerned than she already is, he assures her that it doesn't hurt and is from a while ago. After this, he at least starts drying himself off, and after Ciel and him drink some tea. She then asks if he could watch the house while she goes out, and he obliges. He then continues to revert back to his self-hatred now that he's alone again. But now that Ciel has been trying to help him, those feelings are clashing with the desire for her to return. As he thinks this, she comes back with a change of clothes. These, along with her prepping a bath, is a bit too much for him, and he tries to leave for the mansion, but after her continued pleading, he gives in and stays the night with her. Though he agrees, he still has some trouble sleeping, and he ends up talking with Ciel a bit more.
I can hear the sound of rain. In the end, I couldn't shake off Senpai's kindness after all. She let me use the bath and prepare pajamas for me. She treats me to dinner, and she lends me a bed because it's raining outside, and I'm about to go to sleep like this. My throat feels blocked. Senpai has taken care of me so much my senses feel numb. During dinner, she spoke cheerfully like she always does. She raised all the usual topics about school, about the many shops in the business district, and so on. And although I couldn't give her even one proper answer, every time I responded, I felt a little bit of myself coming back. Right now, I'm sleeping in Senpai's bed and can't stop thinking about Senpai, who's sleeping on the floor. What a turn of events. I killed someone only hours ago, and now I'm getting excited like a normal student. My senses really do feel numb. I didn't think I could ever be showered in happiness like this ever again. I can't sleep, so I'll just look around. I don't know what I should do next. I can hear the sound of the downpour outside. You're going to be late tomorrow if you don't hurry up and sleep, Tono-kun. Senpai, you're awake? Yes, I can't sleep until you do. I am a girl, after all. I'm sorry. I'll sleep in the kitchen then. Oh, how many times do I have to tell you? You've got a cold, so you can't sleep in a place like the kitchen. It's alright, so please, just hurry up and forget your unpleasant thoughts so you can go to sleep. Unpleasant thoughts. That's impossible. That's not something I can forget. It's something I shouldn't forget. Whatever the reason, I killed someone. To forget about the person I killed would be a sin deep beyond imagination. No, I can't just gloss over my sins, Senpai. I can't forget about them, and I won't try to. But thanks. You really helped me with all sorts of things today. I really might have died if I'd stayed like that. That would be running away. If I really think I'd made a mistake, I shouldn't deny it. Sins, you say? It seems like your mistake is something unimaginable for me. Senpai speaks in a cheerful voice, like she's telling a joke. But there's no such thing as a human who doesn't commit sin. It's not like the world is divided into sinners and the innocent. As long as you're alive, you'll make mistakes. It's sad, but it's unavoidable. To live is to be worn down. We are only beings who influence other things while we fade away ourselves. What? Then you're saying we're beyond salvation? I don't like that story about how everyone makes mistakes. Yes, I guess we can't be saved if that were the case. But you can atone for your sins. There are only people who can and who cannot atone for their sins. I think those beyond salvation are those who cannot atone for their sins. For some reason, Senpai's voice sounds really sad. But you can atone for your sins, Tono-kun. I don't know what kind of mistake you've made, but you are the kind of person who can atone for your sins. If you're too worried to sleep, then just think about how you intend to live and atone for your sins from now on. It's a really hard thing to come up with, so your brain is sure to tire out and you'll fall right to sleep. I don't know how serious she is, as she seems to be throwing jokes into the mix. I can atone for my sins, huh? But Senpai, my mistakes is definitely one that can't be atoned for. That's something I can say for sure. That's right. No matter what forms it takes, sins cannot be atoned for. If you injure someone, the sin is not gone even if you heal the wound, is it? No matter how hard you try, you cannot erase the mistakes you've made. I think atoning is not about the results, but about the process. That's what I mean by those who atone for and those who don't. That's why you're the kind of person who can atone for your sins. I don't understand. I'm a terrible person. It's not like I'm not the great person you think I am. I can easily see that. I was really moved just then. You have a terrible wound on your chest, right? Eh? Yes, but what about it? You must have had a serious accident to get a scar like that. Scars tend to distort your memory, or your mind. A wound that size doesn't disappear is a little out of the ordinary. But you're a very natural person. Anyone with that kind of wound who can lead a normal life can be proud of his own strength. You must have had a very proper childhood. Satisfied, Senpai concludes her musings and falls silent. I can hear her even breathing if I strain my ears. Are you asleep, Senpai? There's no reply. I can only hear the sound of the rain from outside. Atone for my sins, huh? A punishment to fit the sin I had committed. I guess they'll find the body of the girl I killed tomorrow, and there'll be a new serial killer story on the news. I can't even begin to count the things I'll lose when that happens. It'll be trouble for Akiha for sure, and I'll never be able to talk to Senpai like this again. But if that would atone for my sin, then I have no choice but to accept it. If I can atone for my sin with that, then there might be salvation somewhere. I feel a little sleepier. I don't know about tomorrow. I don't know, but if I can be forgiven. Until the moment my sin is discovered, until the moment I'm confronted with my sin, I wish I could keep living this kind of life.
After Shiki falls asleep, some time passes. Some noises nearby slightly awaken him, and he lazily opens his eyes. He sees Ciel in the middle of changing, and while his thoughts of yesterday mix with how happy he should be seeing her, there is something odd with this situation, or rather, with Ciel's body. On her, There are markings glowing in unique patterns, and Shiki can't understand what exactly they are. He notices that there are things at her feet, but he doesn't describe them before he is taken back to Dreamland. No, not that one! I just meant that he went back to sleep. With that, we have reached the end of Chapter 2. With Shiki's anemia acting up and a new feeling in him resulting in him killing an unknown girl, he ends the day at Ciel's apartment, unsure of what exactly awaits him tomorrow. Punishment by authorities? Being able to lay low and live normally if the authorities can't figure out who did it? This is something that we'll have to find out about next time on Tsukihime, so I leave you now, but coming up is Chapter 3, The Black Beast, Part 1.